Okay, so that's how they're going to want to play this game. A potential to really snowball. Looking at it, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Cram and Rapidu to make sure they get their crowd controls off perfectly. They need to time the crowd control.
That is, I mean, just alone from RSG, there's a ton of burst potential here, right? And I feel like really your plan is like, all right, let's snowball this as hard as we can in the early game and just scale out of control, you know, for the most part. And then, of course, like, you also do allow yourself to have a pick-off just in the Cho alone, right? And then you have, like, this front line with the Fredrin in the XP lane. So that is kind of the game plan here, right? Really press the gas and just go. The response from Onic is going to be this Lancelot parked in the jungle here. Same thing, though. Even if you look across the board, it's a well-rounded lineup for Onic Philippines.
Also a signature for Ryzen as well with this Lancelot. We also know him back in the days where this is one of the favorite hero picks that he's doing back in his team before from Smart Omega.
Yeah.
So countering it with a Fanny, I think this is one good way of like evading those cables and having that early game burst coming in from a Fanny. So a better way to scale up by yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm leaning a bit more towards the RSGPH lineup here though, but they really need to respect their team fight timing around that Edith. Because if they let the Edith do Edith things. We know what she can do when she has full Primal Wrath, the Wrath bar, and then she gets into her ultimate form out of that mech. She can absolutely tear up lineups.
Yeah, she does wrestling moves, basically. You know, she goes for those 1-2s, and it's tough to deal with, not to mention just with Primal Wrath alone. So, again, let's get a last look here at the team compositions for both. Very well-rounded, and we'll see if that snowball lineup can work here for RSG. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second series of the day, day number 1 here for Season 12 of the MTL Philippines. As we jump into the land of Dawn, we're going to see things get set up here. And my big thing, once again, is keeping an eye on how much pressure they can put on RSG here, on Irad, or if they just let them kind of unleash.
Well, speaking of unleash, early game though, great start for Vision as well for RSG.
Yeah, and looking at it, I like that both teams actually packed on a lot of tenacity. Dude, it's just tenacities across the board.
Four for 3.
3 here for RSG. And actually, Weapons Master on an Harith does signify they want to play this really quickly. They want to snowball. They don't want it to go too much into the late game, even though they will still be a nuisance to deal with for Onic in the late game. RSG are far better off ending this quickly before 15 minutes.
Yeah, not only that, too, but I just think, once again, in terms of RSG's game plan, right, you really, if you can't get those early kills, or let's say snowball in these first couple minutes, then you really have to be in position to fight those objectives first off, right? Yeah. Especially that first hurdle. What we're seeing now in the meta and a lot of these teams is just put so much focus on actually, for the most part, 4-on-4 team fights for those first turtles, right? And really just letting their gold laners go ahead and farm up, have that gold lane experience and work around that. So as both teams kind of play it safely for the most part, waiting for those level 4s here, you're going to go ahead and see both junglers put quite a bit of pressure on each other in the jungle.
Well, speaking of pressure, damage onto Ryzen though, going back to your point, Naisu, the pressure right now, I'm seeing 2 Purifies, and Aqua using the Farsa on a Purify.
Oh yeah. He was really watching out for potentially Escalera or Kramer Rapidude. He knows how important he is to the team fighting of RSG, so he decided to play it safely. And yeah, safely is the key theme right now. Both teams aren't taking any massive risks early on.
Well, Nats though, and also Aqua here being knocked up. And that is the turtle being taken by Ryzen freely by Onic.
Yeah, timing was a bit off there.
Yeah, I was going to say, a bit off. And that's always, I would say, one of the weak points of having a Fanny is the fact that teams will usually force you. Do you decide to use the Retribution on the purple? Yeah. Do you go for the turtle? You have to choose in those minor decisions here.
Yeah, the timing there now will turn into, well, actually this, if RSG want to continue pressuring it, is to eventually go into the gold lane before the second turtle spawns. So they're not going to get it now, but maybe around 30, 20 seconds before that turtle spawns, RSG are already making a play to push nets back. On the other parts of the map, now, weirdly enough, it's Onic who's putting a little bit more pressure onto Irad. Great rotations coming in from Cram and from Escalera.
Yeah, I think Rapidude's just doing a great job on this Kufa so far. You know, a lot of it, again, is that threat. We don't know where Rapidude's going to be. He is putting pressure in the jungle, and at the same time, like I said, it comes down to both these roamers, right? Light, now that he has this level 4, he has the Way the Dragon available to him. will he decide to actually just press the situations in a lot of these cases, right? Instead of waiting for Rapidu to jump in. Otherwise, he has another play that he can go with, which is just, again, peeling for whoever he needs to, right? And at this point, like we were saying, it's going to be interesting in the fact that you have a Harith this time. A Harith is I don't know if I would exactly call it a niche pick, but there's really only a certain amount of teams that like to go this route and then are able to utilize it pretty well.
Yeah, speaking of utilization too, you've mentioned about the light having the level 4 on this show. If they want to press situation, I think they can, because as we go back to the keys to victory, it's the early to mid spike composition of Onic, right? So if they don't want to lose the chance, or if they want to have a neck on a situation, maybe they need to be prepared for it rather than let it go.
Yeah, both teams right now actually, all the keys to victory mentioned are very important factors in this current game. For both teams, they needed to make the most out of the mechanical skills of the junglers. They ended up picking some hella high mechanical heroes, for sure. The heroes even I myself cannot play.
You know,
I can't play a lot of heroes.
Yeah,
you know,
same.
Now that we have Renmar here, one of the biggest brains on the desk, I
Thank
gotta ask
goodness you said brains.
Yeah, brains.
Well, what else would I say?
I don't know.
Well, your IQ's very high.
Thank you.
Let me ask you
man.
this:
Really?
Did you actually see the pickup in a recent tournament where, from the Philippines, Lancelot was locked in, and the emblem there was an impure rage?
Huh.
Did you see that?
I missed that. I missed that, actually.
It was an interesting. I don't know if it was intended or what that was, but we had an idea.
Yeah, let's
And
grind
OSX
Renmar's gears right now.
Let's grind his gears.
Okay.
Are you gonna explain? You
want me
explain.
to?
Okay, Impure Rage onto Lancelot. Since
Uh-huh.
Lancelot doesn't have a mana, one of the passives of that Impure Rage is it converts, instead of mana converting, that is just completely health regenerating.
Wait.
It gives you 1% health on a 5-second cooldown.
Yeah, Impure Rage. And
Am I getting gaslit right? I know Lancelot has mana, dude. I'm not going crazy, right? I know Lancelot has mana. That's why he loves the purple buff. So it's not the health thing. It's just poke. It's usually just for poke. That's mana, right? What are you guys talking about? They're just messing with me now.
yeah,
knew.
I thought he would fall for it, but that is just
You
Renmar having
cannot-
the brains.
Do not gaslight me on this. I was scared.
From that point, we saw happen in the first game. It was from the Martis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to test if he actually would fall for it.
Dude, we know. How long have we been doing this? Lancelot loves the purple buff for a reason.
Well, with that being said, there you go. And at this point, again, second turtle nearly up here. It was great that Onic Philippines was able to kind of just play with the micro and the macro level for the most part.
Yeah.
Forcing, again, Irad not to even contest it, right? This time around, will he be in a position to actually contest this second turtle? Because you can already see the positionings coming into play. You already have Ryzen making his way as well. So now you're going to hope that RC is ready to actually contest this and deal with it. Also, take note that Escalator does have his own wave of the dragon here, and both teams actually just making their way. But the one missing from this fight is going to be Nets.
Yeah,
both teams getting in position here.
Yeah, Light is just the only one here, though. A turtle reset now happening. Nobody's taken this objective yet.
Man,
Okay.
The mind games these two teams are playing right now are even throwing me off just a little bit. A lot of tricks up their sleeves, not just Onic, also RSG in terms of how they're handling the map and how they're playing the rotations.
Look like Rapidude has found one. Nats, though, trying to poke him down, as well as the turtle now going down on low HP. Who's to get this Ryzen? Onic secures, again, the second turtle of this game. No contest for RSG, though, just Vision.
I feel like this is getting now in a point where it's troublesome.
Yeah.
Right? Because Irad, once again, the reason why you pick a Fanny is you want to get early kills, obviously, right? You want to be able to snowball. You want to be able to help that team's momentum here. You haven't done either. Like, you don't have any kills. You really haven't been able to contest at least the first two turtles of the game, which, you know, some people might be, oh, it's not too big of a deal. But you can already see, look, some of the pressure that Onic Philippines continues to put on, again, because of just the fact that momentum-wise, RSG, with the lineup that they haven't been able to utilize it just yet.
Yeah. For the side of RSG, Light in dire straits here, they missed one of the crucial things to do if you're a composition with Harith is that before the 5th minute, you already have 1 or 2 major rotations into the gold lane to build a massive lead.
Oh, we have the setup now coming in from Light. Rapid, though, tries to escape the Feather Airstrike right onto RSG. Escalera, though, trying to hold on, using those recalls as well to spam out RSG. There's a conceal, though. Rapid uses a resource to find another angle here for RSG. Meanwhile, they go to the turret for their protection. Waves just going in, and then Onic just pushing forward.
This is the right call here for Onic. They cannot fully push it here, but now they've taken complete control of the game. Whether it's because they were able to stave off a good rotation on the side of RSG, or they really just made the most out of the fact that RSG looked like they were playing a little bit more reserved. Now they're the ones in control.
That looked like reserve to me, right?
Yeah.
That's a great word to just kind of put it. And now they're going to put pressure on the bottom lane.
Aqua denied by the Feathered Airstrike. Meanwhile, Rising tried to poke Light. A slither of health for this turret. Meanwhile, Onic would really want to push this. Meanwhile, RS just getting on the objective. 6 seconds for the last objective to show.
So you see what's happening, right? Like, Onic Philippines, they actually want to fight.
Yeah.
But they don't have to, and they know it because they're either waiting for RSG to make a mistake by initiating Dallas here, or they're just, you know, they don't have to fight. And that's exactly what they're going to do with this 3rd turtle of the game. Looks like there's going to be no contest, and Irad just decides, you know what, we're going to give those up. We're going to give them up for now. We'll make it up later, hopefully for the Lord. But what happens in this situation? Things start to snowball in favor of Onic Philippines, and that's what you see happening in the gold.
Yeah, no trade, not even a cross-map trade from RSG. What's the game plan here they're trying to do, Renmar?
I think at this point it's just going to boil over and all the tension will break and it's going to be up to one big team fight swinging or determining this game. Again, very perplexing. A team that has a Fanny and a Harith and a Farsa don't usually play like this. I feel like it's RSG just looking to counterpunch to see if they can find it.
Well, Rapid would find a setup, though. Use the conceal, used his jump. Okay.
This is what I'm saying, man. Like, it looks like Onic Philippines like, all right, we're ready to fight. But then they're like, they're not going to do anything, so we don't need to, right? I mean, this is an 8-minute game in. It's 0-0. We don't often see this, like you mentioned, with a lineup, but this could be it. This could be the moment they're looking for.
Light, though, has found an angle. Look at him with the follow-up. He has one. It's going to be Escalera falling down as the first blood of RSG. Emmet secures the kill. Nats takes one as well. That's 2 from Onic. And now this is the team fight that we're looking for. RSG, finally, Light getting an angle.
So, we can see Ryzen now making his way here. He might try to help out Nets, but this is already what we were talking about. Redmar said it very well. At one point, that boiling tension and pressure will explode. And yes, it's only 2 kills, but when you're 9 minutes into the game, that is crucial as we're 30 seconds away from this Lord. Very patient.
That's spotted, though. Now he's going to go and retreat back. Not safe for Eman. Uses Eman Force for an additional movement, so he'd right onto him. Meanwhile, though, Light receives damage, and Eman as well might fall down. Yes, Cram secures the kill. Light still safe. Meanwhile, Nats, though, trying to taunt and pull 4 members of Onic to not reach Light.
Okay, now they're upping the tempo. I felt like I just watched a really satisfying Dr. Pimple Popper video there. Finally, they popped the pimple, and here's the Feathered Airstrike getting popped, but just to push back the members of Onic. Now, again, I think it also became RSG acknowledging. Now looking at it, yeah, it looked like Onic were beating their the RSG rotations in terms of getting to the key positions, in terms of the timings. RSG were not comfortable playing that game, but now it seems like they downloaded a little bit of what Onic like to do.
Looks like Light was the first one to have a setup here. Now Cram will be in trouble. On to 5. That's the kick. That's the damage. Irad secures the kill. No follow-up from Onic, though. They were too late for the party, but Light sees more of it.
Big pickup. That's what they needed there. Get Irad on the board.
Yeah, get Irad on the board, and yeah, now I get it. RSG really were just spending a lot of time trying to read Onic. Onic were doing things in their rotations, how they were splitting the roamers, the mids, and the EXP laner sometimes when they would get out of lane. And that threw off RSG and Light's usual tempo of finding pickoffs, these certain shrubs. But now RSG have read into it. Onic, though, still in the lead, but now they're going to have to shift things up. They have to watch out from the split push of Fanny. And I like that despite the Lord being up, they're still looking to pressure the purple buff here of Irad and RSG.
Yeah, they want to get that choice. Do you use the retry here? You secure it? Oh, and it was taken. So Irad does not have a retribution.
Well, right now, Ryzen might force the situation, though. 3 members here on RSG still holding this lane. But Onic Philippines has eyes on this objective to be taken. Meanwhile, RSG is not again losing on the vision. Nats is always there, and having this Fredrin right on his hand is a great way to hold more of these resources to be in their favor.
And next level discipline, it's 5v4. You have the Edith, Cram trying to clear up lanes up top. RSG might want to push the envelope here, but they can't find an opening. Still, somehow Onic are not giving RSG a lot of openings here in this big situation, but they know where the Edith is coming from.
The threat of Edith's knockup right now is just Jawhead on an unlimited cooldown. Completely getting things off guard for RSG. Needles to knock up, that's the taunt. Escalera might be forced to use his ultimate. Meanwhile, though, that's Net's taken down light. There's no tank for RSG to respond. Now, with damage, we have one more member going down. It's Irad. Escalera takes the kill. No counter, though, with Edith and Nats having this on the side of the map. Onic, Nats finally getting a kill, but Rapiduta trying to hold this lane, but that was a great stronghold from Onic Philippines. 2 down from RSG.
Big pickup there for Onic Philippines to find the marks that they needed to. That's Light and Irad. And it looked like, you know, it would be a good setup even for RSG, but again, they didn't have the purple buff on Irad, which makes it even harder to find the angles he's looking for.
Yeah, and now Onic can just continue this trade right now. Also, it sort of became a double-edged sword that the knockup of the Lord came out because it threw off Nasus' initial initiation. He was able to flicker in there and get the taunt off massive, but he couldn't get a combo off because the Lord also knocked him up, which also knocked up some members of the Onic lineup. But because Nas couldn't get his combo up, it also messed up the team fighting start of RSG.
Oh, that was a bad situation. We felt Rapiduta might charge up, and that was a complete perfect picture knock-up set onto 3 and RSG's second turret.
Again, what I'm noticing here from Onic Philippines is, too, just the fact that, you know, the question was, what are the tricks that they have up their sleeves and everything? And really, it's just kind of throwing off RSG a little bit. And I know Renmar mentioned this earlier on. You know, RSG was trying to just kind of feel them out a little bit in the early game. And I think that was the right move. But now at this point, things aren't overlapping the way they need to for RSG, right? They have, obviously, tools that they need to do that, to pull that off. But at this point, again, when you had a lineup that was very early game centric, especially with the burst damage potential, now you've got to kind of set in and respond to this from Onic Philippines. They've garnered themselves a relatively good gold lead as well on top of it. So they're the ones looking to find these fights, looking to set up now. I don't think Onic Philippines is going to hold back so much anymore, right?
Yeah.
They are going to be looking for these moments where they have the advantage.
Yep, they can continue it. They can keep being aggressive. They can keep sending Cram. And I think this is the Edith effect. Oh, the members of RSG are thinking twice about certain initiations, but because of that Edith, see, Light could have gone for the kick, but they don't want to send the Edith back.
Yeah. But look at the damage, though. Half HP onto Light from Nets alone.
Yeah, this really looking like it's the Edith effect now, especially at this point in the game with both teams.
Yep.
Seeing each other more 5v5 with the Edith around, the timing of it, not being able to find the right angle. It's also a testament to how Cram is playing the game and how the rest of Onic are playing around Cram, being the one a little bit more forward, getting info, and then going back. RSG are watching out for that over and over again. You see Cram, don't fall for it. They're probably members of Onic nearby.
And the scary thing about it, in Cram specifically with the Edith, or the Edith effect, is yes, he's going to get that information. He's going to be quite tanky. Yeah. He also has great CC. But then as soon as he, let's say it's a last-ditch effort where he pops Primal Wrath, you have to respect the damage.
Yeah,
you know,
hold up.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to deal with. And so, you know, again, if you're RSG, you really have to decide, how do we approach these fights, right? How do we deal with this? And not to mention the fact that so far, Irad really hasn't had many buffs. And so that even gets more of a dire situation when you're relying on a Fanny. Because when these Lords come up, now this is the second one, you really have to be able to fight this and contest it, right? But how do you do that? Well, number one would be to get the numbers advantage if you can. His buff is going to be 10 seconds away here, but Onic Philippines, once again, is putting them in a situation, all right, you guys have to decide, are you just going to let us grab this? And if you do, we're set up where we need to be, right? And that is also one of the risks that you take. Of course. Look at this. Going for it.
Oh, he got it. He got it, though.
Secured. Still secured for Irad. Yeah. They're forcing everything out of RSG right now.
He still has a retreat, too.
So that's it. Didn't pop it. But you see here, just the pressure of Onic this entire game, also onto Irad's jungle, also threw off the entire rotation
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
RSG. So pretty much Onic just said, I'm not going to allow you to play your game. We're not going to allow you to rotate. We're not going to allow Light to get into position because he's going to be thinking twice. Am I going to position? Am I going to get info? I'm going to help Irad. Onic just put on so many questions onto the heads of RSG that it threw off their opponents.
Yo, speaking of throwing off, one thing has been knocked up here.
No!
That is going to be Light. Okay,
Woo!
still fleeing for safety now with the
Irad.
response. Ryzen takes down Light. There's no setup for RSG. Minos Galera takes down one. That's 3-0 for Onic Philippines. And now they have a Lord being melted down quickly. Emin and Aqua. Two of the man left for RSG. Now on defense, but Onic right now is on a roll with this objective.
The control, the bravado from Escalera being able to handle Irad's Fanny on his own while the rest of Onic fought that team fight really well. Oh, Aqua under turret, Ryzen, wow!
Ryzen is signing his way throughout his puncture. Oh, Escalera falls down. Emin as well with a trade. But now he won't get off safe. Nets is on a killing spree. That's a 3-1-2 on this carry. And there's a Lord pushing mid and there's waves as well. Two-man to defend here. The base of RSG is opening up for Onic.
Some would say the way that Onic Philippines dealt with that was a chef's kiss with Rapidutas there to lead them through a lot of that. And I think you also have to talk about the itemization. How is it looking here, Renmar, despite that 6K gold difference that RSG is dealing with?
Man, I've rarely seen Starlium Scython and Edith. Usually at this point, they'd pick up the Feather of Heaven already.
Yeah.
But I think
Yep,
they're
yep.
going, you know what? We want more damage than that Edith, because I think they're still going to be going for another damage item. So unique itemization here by the Edith, going for 3 defensive items. Usually you'd see only 1 attack item in the Feather of Heaven earlier in the game, but now they went Starlium Scythe, and they're going to be going for another magic damage item. Very interesting choice there by Cram and Onic, which it's spicy. I like it. They said it.
You know what's funny? The
What?
first time I saw this,
Yeah.
couple, it feels like a couple weeks ago, but it was like last week. I also said the same thing. I'm like, interesting, right? The Edith is picking up the Starlium Scythe, and it actually works really well, even especially with the Primal Wrath, right? So then you become even more of a threat dealing with it. So not only are you tanky initially, and you deal the great combo with the CC, the onward and everything, but then you have to respect the damage from Edith alone. All the while, at this point of the game, you're almost 20 minutes in, Nets is exactly where it needs to be, and you're seeing that from that burst potential just from him alone. So this is where it gets a little scarier. Same thing, Irad got taken out by Escalera earlier, right? He kind of bit off more than he could chew going against Escalera, and he had to deal with it. Now, once again, we find ourselves, RSG, trying to secure this buff for Irad before that next Lord fight breaks out.
Light is on the conceal, trying to make an entry from the back. He spots one. Escalera will be the one to be targeted by the way of the dragon.
Oh!
Now he falls down. Now it follow up as well. Eman and Nets takes down Light with a trade of 2-2. Now it's going crazy right from getting that purple buff.
Oh!
Ryzen falls down. Eman takes the kill. And Rapid as well, using the bouncing ball to escape. Meanwhile,
wow!
got stunned right onto the wall. Rapid was still looking for a way to secure Irad down, but Nets Eman on a killing spree as well. One more member left for Onic Philippines to defend. RSG bouncing back.
That is nuts! That is nuts! That sequence these two teams just pulled off. Onic bit a little bit more than they could chew. Rapidude, quick hands to hug Irad into the wall. Irad, you're wondering why he's still alive? He cabled for his dear life for the basic attack of the carry. For one of those wheels to not hit him. That's why he's still up. That carry was supposed to take him down, but he cabled fast enough. But yes, now it has really turned into RSG accepting the fact that they can counterplay and now making the most out of an Onic mistake of continuing to fight. They got greedy.
That was about a 7,000 gold mistake is what they just did.
It just
that's,
flashed.
That's when you get the dinner bill and you're like, oh, I kind of spent too much.
Oh, man. It's like your first date and you're going, can we split the bill?
Yeah.
Even though beforehand you were talking a big game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I got you. Order the steak. Go ahead. I don't mind. And yeah, I heard that happen to a friend of mine, not me.
Well, going back to it, what happened there is just where we are in the current meta. Things can flip around even with that kind of deficit. Now, this puts the Raiders in charge to march into this base of Onic, who has been pretty much leading the majority of this mid to late game, and now the Lord is going to go ahead and charge up.
Well, speaking of charging up, the attention here is on the last turret on mid. Menial Ryzen are trying to puncture through. Thorn Rose committed as well. Now still Waves pushing through the lanes here though. Onic still defending.
If I'm Onic right now, I'm grasping on to my phone and going, guys, like, not like this. Not like we were in the lead, not like this. RSG, how they've turned things around is magical.
It's very Raider-like.
Very Raider-like, yeah.
This is something that they're known for, and now on the full defense, Onic Philippines has to wait. They lose 2 turrets. They hold on, though. This is still technically, they're still in the game here. But now that they're down the 2 base turrets, makes it a little bit harder, because one of the great things about a Fanny is still the pressure you can put on these side lanes, work around that. They still have about a minute and a half before the next big objective, though. So now Onic Philippines has to decide, do we actually kind of venture off into a little bit of a danger area to see if we can get a pick off, right? That's what's happening. And now you can see Irad should have an opportunity to just go ahead and secure the purple buffs that he needs, allowing him to really utilize this Fanny pick a lot better here.
Yeah, speaking of vision, Cram as well utilizing more of his onward and knock up here to check on the bushes. Yeah. This is deadly though, because at some point, Light is always finding a backline entry. From that last event we saw, he was on a conceal. He's looking for always an angle, and once he lands the right target, it's go time for RSG. That's how they do the counter with Onic, with the mistake that happened right there, Renmar. You think the damage right now, even the defense of Onic can still suffice for their mistake?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They have all the tools that they need, both of these teams, actually. It's just going to boil down to who will fight the better team fight, or who will be willing to take a gamble and, let's say, it looks like it's going to be a 5v5, sending one member to an opposite lane to apply pressure, to get the tower still remaining on the side lanes, or maybe to even go for the split push end. That's the question right now. And Cram, let's see if something can come out of this.
Oh, Eman with this impure rage, the poke potential by just him alone.
Yeah.
And that Zaman force peeled off Onic. And it's okay, we go for the vision, we just go. You don't want that casualty right now. That mistake is too crucial for Onic to make.
RSG here need to make the most out of a team fight that is not going to be Onic style. And by that, I mean they're going to need to come off from weird angles. If they fight the slow front to back, Nets will be happy, Cram will be happy, and RSG will not. So they need to make the most out of them. Oh!
Wow, that's big.
Off-cam kill.
That's an off angle.
You were talking about it.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Crazy, weird angles.
He found the craziest.
That's probably the best thing you can do for RSG right now, given the situation. Get one of the number advantage you need. Now, still, they need to be able to secure this, ensure themselves that they get this Lord, because at the same time, Ryzen is on this Lancelot, right? So at the same time, you have to be able to manage it. You have to be able to manage the zone potential here, and I think that's cut out for Light. That's why you see him getting in position. Rest of Onic Philippines knows this, and they are actually confident in contesting this, possibly coming down to a retribution battle here. So we could even see this reset, waiting for Cram to come up, as it does.
That's bad.
So this is now, again, it comes down to these minor decisions here. So exactly RSG, they want to control this the best they can, while Onic Philippines, like I said, the downside earlier, 2 base turrets down, they're going to have to manage that, right? So now we see RSG once again giving the go on this Lord that will possibly commit to it here. Rapidu going to go ahead and charge up, looking for his own angle.
Oh! There you go. Speaking of angle, that's the setup. The Salmon Force being laid down. Who's going to get this Lord? Who's going to get the objective? Meanwhile, Ryzen now being trapped. He got hugged. Irad secures the Lord, and now Ryzen is trying to take on Light. Pop the immortality, though. He's trying to escape. Nats as well, trying to secure the board, but Irad takes down another one. Cram again. It's always Cram, and RSG is still going to win that. And there's a push right in mid.
Oh, unfortunate timing for Onic. Rapidu clear onto getting a beautiful setup, but just in time, Light. I'm not even sure if he expected that he'd block the Tyrant's Revenge, and then he got the kickoff onto Ryzen. Light, what a play, what a sequence.
And with that, now they're going to be looking to close the game here. Still having these charged up minions with them, they might be looking to close it out.
Escalera figured out a tongue tie. Oh, look at the damage! Right on to Irad. They're just translating his name. My gosh, that burst.
'tis but the flesh wound.
Oh, speaking of wound now, two-man knockoff though. There's a fall for the CC here for Onic Philippines. Now they're still looking grim here. Rapidote had one, but the setup here with a follow-up goes for Onic. Still looking forward for an angle. Light falls down. Net secures one. A trade of 1 to 2 there. Onic still going strong. Still defending the base.
Minion waves. They might try. They might actually try to go for it if they want to. But the minion waves, it's pushed way too far back for them to actually try and end it yet. Sloppy is the best way to put it, honestly.
Yeah.
That looked like a desperate hug. It looked like the nerves of your first game back in FPL Philippines Season 12. It looked like a lot of, you saw the movement of like going forward and going back. Both teams seems like they're not sure if they're going to go full engaged or not. But hey, they were able to salvage something out of it. Onic got kills. RSG said, you know what, we really got to back out here, calling for that, not forcing anything.
Wow, they're going to force this, though.
Very crucial pickoffs from Onic Philippines. Rapidote, though, charging up. Look at that. Irad trying to go. Right on to 3. He's just used the immortality now. Right on to 4. Right in his own base. Aqua falls down. Ryzen as well, waiting for that kill. He will secure it. He still want to secure it. And that's a double with the Thorn Rose. Now Onic is on a roll with the damage here, trying to set up 2. And that's it. Nats falls down. Onic Philippines turn it around again. Game number 1.
Wow. That is not what I expected. But I'm glad that's what we saw. Because now I'm going to be challenged with a post-game analysis.
So, back to the analogy, that's like getting the bill, being like, whoa, that's a little more expensive than I expected. But then, all of a sudden, you find money